let's move on to South Bay. I've got Snorlax over here. Y'all watch the Guildhouse streams. You're probably used to seeing us together on the mic. But how are you doing, man?
What's up? I'm doing good. I'm chilling. Just did a little bit of skating earlier, so a little tired. About to go out later tonight too, with my girlfriend. So just kind of filling in the time here. I made time for you, Telmo.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Let's get into South Bay. I know South Bay has a ton of killers. A lot of people that have shown up at many different levels. We see it every week at Guildhouse. At least one person from South Bay seems to be getting top 8 every week. But let's get into some of these notable players. Take us through your list.
Yeah, so just to first off, I just want to say that we are going to see a lot of players that we do normally see over at Guildhouse, just because of the fact that, of course, our premier tournament just happens to be in South Bay. So a lot of these players you're going to already kind of see and know of, and you're already going to like, okay, you kind of expect them to do well because of the fact that they go to Guildhouse or they get to have the chance to go to Guildhouse. But some of these players that I'm going to list, I noticed have been on like the up and up, at least when it comes to like grinding. I'll note some sleeper hits too that always mess up my seeding whenever it comes to like entering over at YouthNet. But there are like just so many tournaments that they can go to, right? Because we do have like 3 tournaments a week, sometimes even more with Rise of Guildhouse, right? So you can go to AFK over in Campbell, you can stay over here in Sunnyvale for YouthNet, and then you can go back over to Guildhouse in downtown San Jose, of course, our preview tournament. And then on Saturday, of course, sometimes they have the Rise of Guildhouse. So they have plenty of opportunities to play. And of course, they're going to have a lot more padded wins than a couple of the other regions that we're just talking about earlier, like Peninsula. It's harder to find those wins unless players from other sub-regions decide to come up and challenge them. And same with Santa Cruz, right? It's usually just players from the Peninsula or players from Santa Cruz that have to come over here to challenge us. So we're very lucky to have very padded stuff. I can go ahead and get started with probably some of the more like familiar ones that we will kind of like. I'll just list it really quick. Rentex, I think, is probably my most favored South Bay player as of right now. And in terms of like just statistically, I think Rentex probably will do the best. And I'll get into it. And on top of that, it comes to like mentality too, and I'll get into it a little bit. Nazura, if you want, you can hop in whenever you want, because I know you did have Rentex as part of your list. He's just a very consistent player. Of course, when you're in a in a crew with like Nestboy, right, you get very top tier level practice when it comes to players that just like get a lot of lab time and stuff like that. Rentex actually just known for being a Captain Falcon player. It sucks doing these kind of like videos because you kind of give away a lot of like information about some of these players, right? But yeah. it be what it be. Nazura definitely probably would be better at describing Rentex playstyle than me. All I know is that I'm a big fan of his Joker over the Falcon.
Yeah, I mean Rentex. So he's a very interesting player for sure. Definitely one of the very stronger players of this space. Obviously competing mainly at Guildhouse, and so I want to allude back to the whole Nestboy situation. So the three people are Nestboy, Rentex, and Titan. So those 3 all attended the same high school. They all came up together. And actually, fun fact: Vermilion went to the same high school as those.
I was about to say that too.
It seems like everybody who goes to that high school they all go to is a killer. Rentex, master of fundamentals, obviously is Joker, Falcon doing most of the work for him in bracket, but definitely has some very solid pockets. He has a Kazuya that we all need to watch out for. Kazuya is definitely gonna be a hot topic when it comes to the Arcadian. He has Cloud, he has a Wolf, he has a lot of other characters. So
Donkey Kong, I think I've seen.
Yeah, like Rentex,
random
jack of all trades, but definitely deserving of this seed and one of the strongest players that NorCal has to offer for sure.
Yeah. So just to highlight some of the wins too, wins against Vermilion, Twan, another up-and-comer, that's Shattabot. I don't know if you guys seen, just a really good Rob player. If you guys tune in the Guildhouse, you've seen. Of course, Nestboy, the practice partner. You're gonna get some dubs there, and also like a Rogue One is 3XA. We haven't seen 3XA that much when it comes to Smash Ultimate, at least later this season, but still a formidable opponent, still a really good win too. So moving on from Rentex, we'll go into another very highly favored player. Of course, you guys definitely heard of her, Jengi. The Belmont is no joke, and I know when it comes to like people watching and when it comes to like people playing against her, they think, oh, she plays so lame. All she does is throw projectiles and stuff like that. But she is a very methodical player, and if you come into playing against Jengi with no game plan, it's going to be a bad time. Like if you have no Belmont experience, if you've never had to hold the ledge for like 10 years, you know, you're gonna really just get blown up whenever it comes to being on the ledge. And even like when it comes to neutral too, right? Because she can keep the distance very well between her and the opponent and stuff like that. And it's really easy for other players to get frustrated. The reason though that I put her under probably like a player like Rentex, even though she, I feel like as of right now has had like better results, is mainly because of the fact that there's just a lot of like outside factors that can bother her. And so like, she's very sensitive to sound and stuff. So, and I know this venue is going to be just packed. There's 300 players coming out to the Arcadian, and it's going to be very hard for her to be put into that mindset and not have anything distract her. But when she gets into the zone, like if she can tap into that like zone, she will. But she has the potential to win, right? It's not just oh, okay, she's going to make it to top 8. She's just one of the favorite players where a lot of people are considering her for placing first, right? When it comes to like the fantasy, there's not much that needs to be said about her, right? Many of us know her. Just the strong Belmont player. It almost feels like things are gapless, right? Just the mentality thing that comes into play is really huge. Wins against Sandfall, Salty Sam, Luisito, Vermilion, Crimson, Rodney's Alt, X-Red, which is another player that I'll go over to. Moving on from Jengi though, because I gotta keep going. We got a lot of players here. Is G-Shark, another player that I feel like falls to bad mentality too. So I'll kind of pair them right next to each other. G-Shark's been playing extremely well lately. I feel like he's been kind of refocusing and kind of finding himself out as a person, and because of that, he's definitely evolved his play. It's no longer frustrating for him to play this game because it's not as big as a commitment for him, I feel like, because he's like really huge into like the Pokemon speedrunning community. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, or just like really big into speedruns and whatnot, and he's been getting himself involved in that, and I feel like that's helped him a lot when it comes to NorCal Smash Ultimate and his mentality, because he recently had wins against Napster. I think he won against Napster the previous guild house on, wait, let me get the date right, August 24th, right?
So the one that just happened, yeah.
Yeah, the one that just I don't know when you guys will see this, but pretty much, yeah, he has a win against Napster. He also has wins against Ramon, another player that you guys probably don't know of, but I consider a really good player, Zelda fan. He has a win against Scion from a while back and a win against Lumi, another great Santa Cruz player that I believe she's still in Santa Cruz, right? Am I wrong?
I think she's going to the Arcadian.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, okay.
So she's listed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you know, he has potential, right? He's got like these wins. He's also he's known as a very like fundamental base player. That's why we see him on the Wolf a lot more now. But if not Wolf, it's going to be the Wii Fit Trainer, where he definitely gets away with a lot of matchup unfamiliarity, even though we do have Rune in this region. So not much needs to be said about G-Shark. You guys have seen him play plenty of times, and if not, you guys seen him do the seeding when it comes to Guild House. You guys probably have talked to him before. He's also part of the PR panel. So just a strong player. He knows a lot of people too, so it's important to like take that in a note where if you know a lot of players and if you know how they play, you're gonna make it far and deep into a bracket, especially one this big. All right, another great player. Just going down the list, we have X-Red. I know if you guys have been kind of hanging around the NorCal Smash Ultimate Discord, you'd see the current discourse when it comes to X-Red and his complaints about seeding. Rightfully so, right? Because every time X-Red does come out to a tournament, regardless of how long he's been away, he actually does perform pretty well. with wins against Ranizal, Quicksilver. Of course, some of these you're gonna hear over and over again, right? Like Luisito, H3K, Portix, one of his main practice partners, and even a win on Crimson is very, very hard to ignore, right? Especially when it comes to like wins against Luisito and H3K, while they do like mess around a lot. Just the fact that like he is able to get like such good practice and play when it comes to tournament, coming down to the South Bay tournaments, especially not to, like we said, AFK, YouthNet, Guildhouse. When you get to play against players of that level, they definitely get to like kind of match that speed, right? Eventually, at some point, you're gonna either match their speed or you're gonna overtake, right? Right. When it comes to like improving as a player too, right? You think about this stuff is that it's easier for people at the lower level to get better quicker, right? I wouldn't say X-Red is a lower level player, right? But I'm just saying it's easy for him to match that speed so long as he gets to play against those players like Luisito, H3K, especially like players like Portix, right? And that's why it's funny because he definitely does have his like downfalls too. Every once in a while he'll lose in a place where I don't expect him to lose. Like I believe he did lose to Sonam Slash, a Link player at the last guild house, and he just hasn't really been playing too much lately. At least I haven't seen him in bracket. I do know that he does like host fest every once in a while when it comes to Sandfall and Vortex. They do get to play against each other pretty often, so you know that's some top tier level practice. Okay, so and now pretty much what you guys are probably waiting for are some lower level picks that I believe will do really well based off of what I've seen and some practice, just pretty much just being around them most of the time. I'll go with the more notable one is Salt Lord, of course. Yeah, hey, there it is. Everyone's bestie, everyone's best friends. Hey, can we get a shout out to Salt Lord for everyone in here in the chat? Can we get?
yo, Salt Lord is my goat, bro. He is the man. If you don't know Salt Lord, just know he makes a name for himself one way or another.
And the very last player that I have that I think can do pretty well, that can, I'm not sure about reach top 8, but definitely make it out of pools and maybe even reach deeper into bracket, depending on if he wants to or not. I feel like this man's a massive troll is Vent Crosser, Mr. Vent Crosser, or as many people call him, Mr. Booga. He is a Mega Man player that also plays a little bit of Sephiroth, that's trying to learn Min Min also. Wait, sorry, no. Luisito's trying to learn Min Min. I'm totally wrong. No, Vent Crosser has been playing a lot of random characters lately, but if he sticks to the Mega Man, I feel like he can make a pretty far run too. Like, of course, one of the players that kind of, I guess, inspired Luisito to play a little bit of Mega Man. We know Mega Man or Luisito has like a pocket Mega Man too, right?
Yeah.
And also like H2K has a little bit of a Mega Man thanks to your boy Mr. Booga, for what I'll probably be referencing him as, because he does change his tag pretty often. Just all around solid player, right? Just knows how to make people frustrated, knows how to air really well. I feel like so long as he like takes the right steps and decides to play well, because some decisions I feel like he makes because he doesn't want to, he doesn't feel like playing that seriously, he'll do some kind of wild stuff. But notably, whenever I do watch him play, and he makes some pretty like really solid call-outs that surprises me even. I'm like, was he always ready for that? Like, has he always been this kind of player that understands how like player positioning and like player habits and stuff like that? It's hard to really get a read on that guy, and that's why I think he'll probably make it a little bit far. So those players, those 6 players, are what I consider some of South Bay's best. But there are some sleepers who don't actually get to like really enter tournaments too often, and even when they do mess up the seeding like really bad. There's a player called Moo. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. I don't know if he plays Meta Knight only, but from the times that he has come out to tournaments, he is one of X-Red, Sandfall, and Portix's practice partners. So he's he's obviously a very strong player if he has those people as practice partners. And on top of that, I think it's the whole like Google crew, right? That the whole Google crew is pretty strong because of the consistent practice. And there was one time where I was invited to go practice doubles or help Sandfall and extra practice doubles, and I was paired with Moo, and I was very, very wildly impressed with how good his player intuition is. Like it's really solid, and you need that. Like in order to do well in doubles, you need to have really good intuition. So this is a really sleeper pick that will probably catch a lot of people off guard. Really watch out for him. If you have him in bracket, don't sleep on him. Don't consider him an O2er because he's really not. Yeah. Another one is Ampha, is a resident Bayo player. Doesn't get to enter brackets too much, but whenever he enters, he always takes players to last hit, last stock, game 3. And then he sometimes will take a win that will just mess up the rest of the bracket whenever it comes to YouthNet. So Ampha's a really strong Bayo player that I feel like loses to himself in most cases, at least from what I've seen. Like he'll take a exaggerated risk, or he'll just fall to just same patterns. But outside of that, if you run into him, also just don't sleep on him, please, guys. It's a really scary player, especially a character like Bayonetta, where most players nowadays have no idea what Bayonetta can do. Another player is Fail Whale. I don't know. You guys probably heard of him before. He's a Nest player. He was ranked in some like obscure region. I forgot what it was, but it was like a city ranking. And he's a pretty strong player. Really good Nest player. Just doesn't make it far into bracket, unfortunately, sometimes because he does run into some really like strong players early, and that just makes his run that much more difficult. But he is definitely someone that I would consider probably making it out of pools for sure. Probably making top 16. I don't know. There's a lot of killers. If you see Failwell up there, it's no surprise. And then the very last player, I say for very last because all of you guys know him, is Seagraves. I don't know if you guys have kept up with how he's been playing in bracket. I know he's kind of like a name that you hardly ever see pop up when it comes to like player discussions. But whenever I watch Seagraves, he's like a mini Crimson playing Lucina. And it's a pretty huge compliment because Crimson makes really good decisions pretty much like 90% of the time on top of wild decisions. I consider Crimson a mini Vermilion. So just that tier list of players. We got Vermilion, we got Crimson, we got Seagraves, and if you follow them, right? If you follow that level of like that type of play, you're eventually going to reach that level because your decision making will only get stronger. That's it for for South Bay. I know it's a lot of players, but there are a lot of killers out here. So. No problem. Thank you so much. That was a lot. There's a lot of info because there's a lot of people in South Bay, and like you said, spotlight's sort of on South Bay because the premier tournament in our region seems to be in San Jose. So it makes a lot of sense. Like there's a lot of strong people and that goes for all of the regions actually. But yeah, thank you.